In this video, we'll discuss types of acids and bases. Acids are sour, react with metal, turn blue litmus paper red, and they are molecular compounds. Bases are bitter, slippery, turn red litmus paper blue. They could be ionic or molecular, and they are also referred to as alkaline. When we're talking about acids and bases, we're really talking about how they behave in water. So one of the properties of water that's important to understand is that water is known as amphoteric, which means it can either act as an acid or a base. And that's because it produces hydronium, which is an acid, and hydroxide, which is a base, when it ionizes. Three different types of acids and bases: Arrhenius, Bronsted, Lowry, and Lewis. Arrhenius acids release hydrogen ions. Arrhenius bases release hydroxide, so H plus versus OH negative. Bronsted-Lowry donates hydrogen ions, and we just say protons. And then Bronsted-Lowry bases accept hydrogen ions or protons. Lewis acids accept an electron pair, but Lewis bases donate an electron pair. So here's an example of Arrhenius acid. You have HCl, hydrochloric acid. In water, it ionizes, creating hydronium ions and chloride ions. The Arrhenius base releases hydroxide ions in water, so NaOH releases sodium ions and hydroxide ions in water. Bronsted-Lowry, the acids donate protons, the bases accept protons. So we have H2O, it donates a hydrogen to NH3, making NH4 positive. It lost a hydrogen, making OH negative. So the acid donates the proton and it becomes a base, and we call that the conjugate base. The base accepts a proton, becoming an acid, and we call that a conjugate acid. When you're trying to determine if the substance is an acid or a base or a conjugate acid or a conjugate base, you look at before and after the reaction. So H2O, for example, has 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, and a 0 charge, but it loses a hydrogen and the charge decreases from 0 to -1. When that happens, this new substance is the conjugate base. If you lose a proton and your charge decreases, that new substance is the conjugate base, which makes H2O acid. Now, when your substance gains a hydrogen and the charge increases, like here, from a 2 to a 3, and then a 0 charge to a +1, that's a conjugate acid. The new substance is a conjugate acid because it gained hydrogen and the charge increased. The original substance is a base. Lewis acids accept electrons and Lewis bases donate electron pairs.